Today, the Washington football team announced that they will be retiring Sean Taylor's number this Sunday. There will never be another 21. On Sunday, we will officially retire Sean Taylor's number, Washington football team. And I think the internet, rightfully so, said that's fascinating that in the middle of the fire burning around you, it's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. Everything terrible is being said about the workplace environment. We've learned so much. All hell is breaking loose over there. The team just lost the game to the Saints. It's convenient that the most beloved player, maybe one of the most beloved players in the history of the league at this point, who was wrongly killed at his own house and was an absolute superstar on a trajectory to be a Hall of Famer and be a GOAT in a conversation folklore and play great football for a long time, who's beloved. We're going to retire his number this weekend, actually. Long overdue, probably. And it's not getting any prep or promotion leading up to it. Jim Irsay will announce months in advance. Robert Mathis is going in, brother, in November. October, Peyton's doing this. Other teams have done that type of thing. I think with how the world is for that team and them announcing this on a risk-free same-game parlay, Thursday Night Football Thursday, the game's on Sunday. I don't know if this is necessarily the best decision, but I think the outcome of this guy getting his number retired is incredible. So it's kind of a mixed reaction, I think, by everybody on the internet.
Well, I think it's well-deserved. Sean Taylor, we can all agree, unbelievable, absolute monster, highly respected by anyone that ever played with him, played against him, his coaches, teammates. Just seems like, it's fun to go back and watch clips of Sean Taylor and watch him absolutely annihilate people. Yeah. Like, I know there's a big Pro Bowl, hit the punter, that whole situation, but just watch his game highlights. That guy, not only is he getting picks and getting to the house, but he is knocking people's skulls off. It's fun to watch.
He was like a Bob Sanders meets like...
He's big, tall, like taller than Bob, though, and just a headhunter.
I love that. And how do you feel about them retiring his number? Obviously good. Do you think like this deserves a little bit more celebration? In my
but this
eyes,
had to be planned in advance. This has to have been planned in the offseason because I'm sure his family's going to be there. All these people have to be there. The question is, should they have canceled it and pushed it back? Which, no, you don't want to do that. You want to get him in. But I don't think they didn't just throw this together 2 days ago.
Okay, so that's your thought. Your thought is that this is just
there's too much involved in all that to retire. Like, there's too much involved to do it week of.
Well, and I think that's what the entire internet's saying is like, hey, this is a lot to happen, and you guys are announcing this on a Thursday or a Wednesday night, whatever. Did they do it last night or this morning? I think it was this morning. To announce that on
so weird. It's so weird.
That's what I'm saying, because like families, and I would assume that they're going to get a lot of videos and all these speakers. And if they would have announced it a couple weeks ago that it was going to happen, and then all this shit takes place, I think a lot of people go, okay, are we delaying it until a better time? Is there a better time? Should we potentially celebrate something that great came from this organization? Because all we're hearing about is absolutely terrible if you're the organization. I think just the rollout of the announcement is, pretty... And maybe they just thought we'll drop this out of nowhere. It'll be a cool thing, and they planned it for a long time. I'm not. They're gonna probably have to answer questions to that. If I had to guess, I'm sure DC reporters of the Washington football team won't ask those questions. I'm assuming that won't happen. But there's a lot that goes into a ceremony, everything that has to be. Unless they're just putting it together right now to say we
like an unveiling, they got to get everything that they're going to put in the stadium. Aren't they going to have number 21 and probably his name up in the stadium? Like, that's the whole process, all of it.
All of it. What's up, Ty?
Well, I was just going to say that. That is one way to look at it, but then I can't remember, it was on Twitter this morning, I can't remember if it was Rap Sheet or someone said that like no one has worn 21 in like 4 to 5 years, so it's kind of like de facto retired already. So it is surprising that, they basically could have picked to do it whenever they wanted to, and it ends up being this weekend.
Yeah, who are they playing this weekend?
Could just be bad luck.
Football Could team? Be.
Yeah.
Chiefs, I believe.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do it on Chiefs Day?
Hey, you schedule homecomings for a reason. Yes. You schedule celebrations for a reason. Hey, let's have a joyous occasion. One of our greatest of all time is getting retired, and his family's here. And also, Patrick Mahomes is coming to town with Travis Kelce, and
coming off.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they're trying to make it hey, that not only is one of the greatest players of all time, who passed away far too soon. Also, Patrick Mahomes is coming to town. I mean, come on in.
They wanted to make sure the stadium's full, so they wanted to play one of the best teams, like with a lot of star power.
Well, especially if you plan on promoting it for 2 days.
Yeah.
That's
the most. That's very intriguing. Like, yeah, why? Why wouldn't you? I mean, I guess in the heart of all of this stuff with Gruden and Bruce Allen, You're not going to drop it right then. Are they just waiting? They thought they waited enough days. Like, okay, it's calm down.
Hey, and don't think that the Schefter shit doesn't make the Washington Football Organization look necessarily great as well. Now, obviously, the Gruden thing that's crossed into the real world in a big way. I mean, that is massive. But the Schefter situation, I think, around, and now granted, it might be the entire league operates that way, but I think a lot of people around the league are wondering, like, okay, so Washington was able to allegedly be able to tweak some things. Is our
They can
team?
say Bruce Allen though. Can't Washington claim like, hey, he's not here anymore?
Yeah, and it's not even the same name. I think because they're trying to create an entire new chapter. I think and maybe that's why they're doing it. Like, hey, that last chapter wouldn't retire this number. We are trying to turn this thing over as best as we possibly can. Whole new staff working in the front office, in the building, in every department. Basically, it's brand new. Maybe that's what they're trying to do to prove that they're a new chapter, a new team. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, and that's why if they were going to do something to kind of like move the spotlight away from all that shit, it should have been like announcing the new team name and what they're going to be doing moving forward instead of like throwing together what seems to be a last second, we're going to retire Sean Taylor's number instead.
By the way, what if that's what Jason Wright says when they ask him? What if Jason Wright goes, you guys know that I have just a team name sitting in my back pocket. If I really wanted to just drop this out of nowhere as strictly a PR move because all hell seems to be breaking loose, I could just, boom, here's our new name. We don't even want to be associated with that anymore. Let's move on or whatever. So I guess you're 100% right. That is something he could do, although this is a monumental thing, I think, amongst their fans and most NFL fans as well.
Yeah.
It's not as big as the team name, obviously, but this is, I mean, it's huge.
Massive.
It's absolutely huge.
Apparently, there's a Washington football team statement or something that is coming out, but I haven't seen it.
President's brief, by the way. Jason Wright actually just tweeted.
What did he say?
He said, we wanted to do something long overdue by retiring players' numbers months ago. We planned for Bobby Mitchell and Sean Taylor to be the first two. Seeing reaction, I'm very sorry that the short notice does not properly reflect the impact that Sean had. President's brief to come is what he said. So we kind of talked about this earlier. There's a lot that goes into retiring of numbers. A lot, like travel and videos and testimonials and everything like that. For this to be announced now, AJ more so than I think he was much more open earlier, assumed that this was planned long ago and it just so happened to happen this weekend and they didn't roll it out in the way that you would expect, especially for something like this. But the internet was taking it as, this is just them trying to get back in good graces with either their fan base or the NFL media as a whole. They're doing something great that is long overdue. It's just kind of an interesting situation over there right now. You know, Ian?
Not surprisingly, AJ is right. So good job.
Hey, boy, AJ.
Let's go,
Hey,
dude.
boy, AJ.
Yeah.
Hey, he pumps gas with his car on. Hey, boy, AJ.
Boy, Hawk.